Here's what I've got so far. A split pattern. The handle is 3. Looks like a rope made out of 3 coils that split out. Two of them become the loop. The third becomes the little opener part. This is just made out of some molding. I already put some little pins in here. It's just all off the same piece, basically. I do a lot of filing these edges to smooth it out, get to the parting lines, the spirals to meet up with each other a little better. I cut this out of my bandsaw out of a piece of 1/4 inch plywood. I had another handle on it, but then I remembered I had this stuff. I've still got to do some putty work to fill out just give a little bit of something to the back side of this, so it's not just flat like that. Fill in all these little blemishes and smooth things out. I might cut this off. Not sure yet. Next step is to glue this on. Alright, I got it glued on, and once it dried I kind of was able to file it to get closer to the final shape I want. It will catch on the bottle. I can't do it one-handed. Well, got some putty on these now to just kind of seal up the little fluffy wood bits and kind of feather in the edges of the Dymo embossing label maker tape a little bit. I think you'll still be able to see the rectangle, but it's a new product that I haven't used before. It's a 2-part epoxy, but it's not a putty like some of the ones I've used before, or like a squirtable goo. It's somewhere in between, more like a paste. Maybe it's like Bondo that people use for fillets and stuff. I'm not sure because I've never used that. Anyway, I should be able to sand this down pretty nice after, and now the other side won't just be flat. It'll have a little curve to it. I've made sure to put plenty in the fillets here so I could sand it down to final shape later. Well, I've put on a few more coats of this 2-part epoxy paste stuff on both sides of the opener so far to smooth it out and make sure the parting lines meet up perfectly. I also got my embossing labels kind of puttied up on the side to try and mask the edges of the tape. I'm not sure how much success I'm going to have with that. Well, I got it all finished, all sanded, nice and smooth. There's a little bit of a gap there, but that's where I put the gating, so I'm not too worried about that. Just give it a little bit of volume back here too. Yep. So that's the pattern. So next I wanted to show you guys an interesting way to cast a match plate pattern so that it's easier to make a whole bunch of bottle openers. So here's the footage for how I did the molding for that. You people are sick. I think this first batch I might mix up some facing sand. I'm just going to put a little bit of dextrin in it, which makes it a little bit stickier, but it burns out quickly. So if I just use it for facing, that'll last me longer. Well, in about the time it took me to empty the rest of the wheelbarrow back into the barrel, it's ground up pretty much all the lumps. Very nice. Feels dry, but it's nice and sticky. Some of my stuff is mysteriously missing this spring. My sand rammer, my parting bag, my fine sieves. So I must have a bucket of stuff that I stashed somewhere for the winter. Spin trap. Gating's about the same diameter as the sprue. The gate widens out to slow down the flow of metal, and it kind of lips up a bit before it gets to it. The hope is that the metal shoots this way and the spin trap does its job before the gate starts filling. Bottle opener pattern. Not too bad. Okay, now I know that this is not quite right, and that this spin trap, it looks like a spin trap that had a baby with a vortex gate or something. Oh my gosh. I'm sure I shouldn't have done that like that. Nice. Still one little bit of pattern. Don't know if you can see this. I'll have to draw out the spin trap that didn't stay put. I had to take it out before. All right. Now, this is the interesting part. So I got this stuff for like $1 at the Restore. Still got plenty of this, just one piece left, and a few other pieces too. Also bought this saw, which looks pretty good there, and it was reasonable too. I cut out enough for these pieces that are going to fit in a 12-inch flask. So yeah, it came out pretty much even. Anyway, this is a frame to cast a match plate. The idea being, I'm going to cast this whole big space in between here, and the aluminum's going to lock into these crimps, and then I can put this as a pattern, this whole thing, which will be solid aluminum with half a bottle opener on either side. Whoa. Okay. So that thing is now sandwiched between the cope and the drag, and it's held in place by these same alignment pins. So because this entire 12 by 12 inch surface is going to be pushing up on the sand, got to clamp the mold. This will keep the hydrostatic pressure, or metallostatic pressure if you prefer, from floating the cope up off it, which would cause it to run out and a big disaster, especially when I've already separated the cope and drag here with that match plate pattern. Now I can already see the sand wants to let go of the flask itself, so I'm going to also be weighing the sand, of course, when I go to cast this. And hopefully the result of this casting will be a cast aluminum match plate that I will then use to cast a bronze bottle opener. And I can use to cast as many of them as I want, because this match plate will be close to indestructible. Yeah. I may just pack some sand in around the cracks here, and maybe even tape it, because I don't want any leakers. Right, so it's not too hard to pack sand in the cracks. I've got this idea for making a match plate out of chunks of cheap scrap window frame from Odd Duck on the Alloy Avenue forums. His way of doing it is a little prettier looking, but the idea is basically the same. Son of gotten on oil just barely. Still trying to tune it. They're already melting. Looking for some Here we go. That went too fast. Clearly. Well, if you're seeing this in my 2019 Openers Open video, it's probably in the hilarious first attempt failure portion of the video. Look at this. I think my my mold weight caved in the coat. It's all empty space inside here because of this spacer that's there. Well, that's not a good sign. What? I got the corner of my match plate, but it's not actually attached to, oh, maybe it is. Whoops. Oh, that's rough looking. Made a mess of the flask. Okay, well, I got the corner of a match plate cast here. Can you see that? It worked out pretty well for an instant. It's supposed to be the whole thing, including like this thickness in between these two halves of the bottle opener. Instead, it all caved in and I wound up with a bottle opener and a whole bunch of sand inclusions in it. Oh, the top half doesn't look that bad. I bet you I can open a bottle with this. As you can see, the corner that actually did work the way it was supposed to didn't work the way it was supposed to, It filled through the place where the sprue cracked in half when most of the mold dropped down into the center of the cavity. I would have ended up with a plate this thick through the whole thing, with half a bottle opener on the bottom side of it and half a bottle opener on the other side of it, and this nice gating on the bottom side of it, and this spin trap on the top side of it. I probably would have sawed off this riser and just put one on to when I'm molding it. Same with the sprue. You can see this is where the mold cracked here too. And the whole mold just dropped down and sealed together the two halves. I'm pretty amazed that this came out as well as it did, considering I wasn't even trying to cast a bottle opener today. However, I did not get the match plate I was after. I don't think I've earned a chance to try this on a bottle of beer yet. How rough it is. All that sand that came loose when the mold cracked and dropped, and washing right into the casting. So I tried to cast a match plate, and all I ended up salvaging from it was this. Cleaned it up a little, but I mean, this is garbage, junk, no good. This, I put some putty on it to fill in some of the horrible porosity that came from having half the mold collapse on the runner and drag half of the spin trap. My wife saw it sitting there with the putty curing on it and asked me why I was making a musical note. Well, my long weekend's over. I did not get my bottle opener cast. But today I did get all my sand mulled nice and sticky. I'm gonna try and I gotta go to bed. I gotta work in the morning, but I gotta try and make the mold tomorrow. And if I'm lucky, I get it poured too. If I'm not, I'll have to pour it the next day and hope it stays fresh. The last time when I tried to cast that match plate, one of the big problems was that my sand was just way too dry. So I'm gonna make sure that it's not the case this time. It's nice and strong, sticky but not sticking to me. So if it doesn't dry out overnight, I'll be able to make a mold tomorrow after work. Hopefully I can get this thing done in time and not have to use my failed match plate accidental bottle cap as my entry. I might have had a chance to do it this weekend, but there was a physics emergency of cosmic proportions requiring my attention, and I had to go and on a little adventure. But that'll be the subject of another upcoming video. Well, the sand's definitely not too damp anymore. I'll try and give you a better view of the second half of making the mold this time. Have it actually be in frame for you. I don't want to burn up my good molding board again. Switch to this guy. There you are. Let's see what we have got here. This one pin's really doesn't like it. All gummed up with sand. There is the cope. Here's the drag. It's important apparently to radius this transition here. back to this part. I'm just cutting the gate here. Don't think I damaged it. Lucky. Sprue and the vent in the spin trap are clear, the riser's clear. I can even see through one of the vents in the bottle cap. Not cap, bottle opener. Oh, that cleared the other one too. Oh, I didn't cut the stupid gating yet. Not the gating, the pouring basin. Pardon me. I go back in time for a minute. I'm gonna try this to cut my basin. I probably can't hit this thing without splashing it all over the mold. Then there's no hope for me. I'm just gonna dump that out if I can. I don't know if I can. Yeah, I can. That's probably not the best practice. This is the test close, because those other test closes didn't count. Okay, I don't. Alright, I think this one's good to close up for real. Got it on the corner of the board so I could pour from either angle without having to drip down past stuff. Now this got me thinking some sand fell down that sprue. And some did. You might notice I have a new furnace. You'll get a proper introduction to the red dwarf in my next video. But for now, suffice it to say, it works good, it heats up fast, and we're going to use this to melt some bronze for my bottle opener.
the diesel that I accidentally dripped just to the inside of the 2AR. At least I think that's what it is. Hopefully it'll be gone soon. I just gotta let the air bubbles get out of the fuel line, then it'll burn steady. Ooh. It went okay. Overpoured it a little. Ooh, that was hot. It's a rush, man. Pouring bronze. Whew. All right. Let's see what we got here. Oh, you're stuck. So far, so good. Oh. A little bit of flashing. It's all there. A little bit rough in there. I bet it'll still work though. See my tapered sprue with the tear-shaped pouring basin. Maybe this is too big, I don't know. See my runner with what I hope to be the same cross-sectional area as the base of the sprue. Spin trap, it's probably all wrong. Here's a riser, a feeder to keep this from shrinking. I don't know, to me, still kind of hot. This is super smooth and awesome looking. There's one little thing there. Other than that, I'm pretty happy. Could have made the gate a little smaller, but it all filled. Pretty good. Vent off. Pretty hot. Let's see what I can do. Alright, you guys watching? Cheers! It works. Well, one thing I learned, if you're gonna mold a spiral shaped handle, you better have your sand right, because cleaning up the flashing on the parting line was a great big old pain right in the you know what. It's now May 23rd at coming up on 5 p.m. This is as good as it's gonna get. I still do plan on doing a little more cleanup, some bead blasting and patina, because I've already gone this far, right? But this is my entry. That should focus. There. Yeah, the bead blasting and patina will hopefully help to conceal some of the file marks and things like that. At least I hope so. But it'll work right now.
We should put it on somewhere it's clean.
My eyes are up here.
Oh, you want me to film there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I got the good stuff. Can you see that? Real cane sugar.